We've got a lot of preps and we're always adding more. How are we going to keep track of it all? Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Today I'm sharing a prepper pantry haul. I'll be showing you both some food and some gear type of items that we've added to our preps and our food storage. Remember, we follow the principles of a working pantry and adhere to the adage, store what you use and use what you store. So we work towards building out a food supply to last a set amount of time, then maintaining that supply by replenishing what we use. We get a lot of questions about where we store our food and supplies and how we keep track of it all. Storage is one of the biggest roadblocks for people who are trying to build their preparedness plan. Unless you have a lot of storage in and around your home, you have to get creative and often have to break up your storage into multiple different areas. This actually isn't a bad thing. It has some benefits, but you definitely need a way to keep track of it all. We definitely have several different areas where we store our food and our preps. We've been working on a big overhaul and reorganization of everything, and we're planning some prepper pantry tour videos as soon as it's all done. It's quite the process. It's taking a while, but keeping track of everything can definitely be a challenge, especially when there's more than one person who's dealing with it all. Mr. Wicked Prepared is a great organizer. He loves doing his part. He's been doing so much of the organizing of everything. But I do the bulk of the cooking and the shopping. So we really have to communicate and work together to make sure that nothing gets lost in the shuffle. I've been searching for a long time really for a system, some sort of system to keep track of everything. So in honor of the new year, new beginnings, and keeping things organized, we decided to try the system that I've had my eyes on for a while. It's called the Ultimate Prep System by Prepper Nerd. It basically allows you to input not just your food inventory, but your gear and other supplies as well. You can put down a location for everything. We got started trying it out in the last few weeks and it's pretty cool so far. I mean, so far we've only gotten just our store-bought canned food input into the system. We're working on cleaning supplies next. It's gonna be a process getting it all into the program. I mean, this is years and years worth of food storage here. I think the most ideal situation would be people who are just getting started with their food storage, because if you were starting from scratch with this program, it would be easy peasy. But I can already see just from the little bit that we've used it, how it's going to benefit us. You can use it on a computer or on an app on your phone or a tablet. So I can check to see if I have, a can of chicken broth or tomato soup or whatever it may be, anything. And I can see whether we have it, how much we have, and exactly where to go look for it, even though Mr. Wicked Prepared was the one who put it away. He's been setting it up down to the area, the zone, and even the specific shelf that everything is on. And you can input each person in your family and how many calories each person needs in a day. And that can be different for each person. And it will calculate how many days worth of food storage you have, which is going to be really helpful once we've got everything input. We can download and print it out as often as we need to so that we always have a hard copy in case the grid goes down. Now we're still working on little details and our own personal systems to make it work for us. I mean, we have teenagers in the house, so we need to make sure that no one's just grabbing things out of the inventory that we took so much care to prepare. But we do have a plan for that. So once we get it all set up, we will definitely do a video all about the program, how we're implementing it to make it work for us. In the meantime, if you want to go and check it out for yourself, we will have a link down in the description box below. If you follow our link below, that will take you to a page with a lot more information and you'll automatically get $20 off just by using our link. But I really think that this is going to be an awesome and much needed addition to our preparedness plan. So I'm calling this the first prep in our list of things that we've added to our preps lately. Now let's come on over here and we'll see what else we've added to our preps. All right, so I'm going to start right over here. This is all my Amazon stuff. Now to start with this Chicago style mild, I know I'm going to butcher this name, giardiniera. I never know how to say this. This is usually sold in jars. I wanted to get some of this to make a recipe, crockpot Italian beef for sandwiches, but I cannot find this Chicago style mild giardiniera sold anywhere near me. So I went to looking online and I was having kind of a hard time finding it there too. Target does sell it. It was $5 a bottle, but they want $35 order to ship for free, and I'm just not ready to place a $35 order right now. So I found this on Amazon, and this package is 3.5 pounds, so it's almost 4 times as much as one of the jars. And it had subscribe and save, and it had a coupon at the time. I don't know if the coupon is still available, but I got this for, I think it was under $7 for this whole package. I'm assuming this package is meant more for like restaurants and food service and things like that. But so now what I have to decide is what I'm going to do with it once I open it. I think the two options I'm deciding between is either to can up the extra in, you know, maybe 3 jars, or do I want to make freezer meals out of it? If I can get a good deal on the chuck roast, then I'll probably cook one for dinner and then put together, you know, 3 more freezer meals with the rest of it to have another time. So those are my options with this. I would like to find this in a jar. It would be easier to store and stock in a jar, but until I'm ready to make an order from Target, I'm having a hard time finding it. And the next thing I got was this 6-gun chili mix. I saw somebody using this and I thought it looked pretty interesting, so I wanted to try it, but I gotta say, I don't think this is going to become a regular in our house. I haven't tried it yet, but this was over $5, and I believe it only makes 1 batch of chili. So that's just not something that's going to really fly in our house for the long run. So, but I did just get it to try. If it's really, really, really good, then maybe I'll look for like a copycat recipe or something. I used to just use, you know, chili powder and other seasonings like this when I made my chili, and then I did eventually switch to using a chili seasoning, something like this. We really like the Chili O brand, but that has gotten really hard to find. But the difference is just that this has got multiple seasonings and usually some thickeners and things like that all mixed together. Sometimes it's just easier to use a blend than to use multiple different ingredients. And then I do have a large bulk pack of taco seasoning. This McCormick is not the one that I usually buy. I was buying Ortega, but just because it was the cheapest. Honestly, taco seasoning is taco seasoning. I really don't think there's a whole lot of difference between the different brands, so I just buy whatever's the cheapest. And the price went up on the Ortega, so this was the cheapest at the time, so I ordered this. We do keep quite a bit of taco seasoning on hand because I just find that that's a good seasoning. You can do so many different things with it. Everyone loves tacos and anything taco flavored, so we keep a lot of taco seasoning. Now this right here is yogurt chips. So this is kind of like what the coating would be on like a yogurt covered raisin or a yogurt covered pretzel. And I've been wanting these for a while. I finally broke down and ordered them. What I'm going to try to do with these is make oatmeal bombs. If you've ever seen Cocoa Bombs, it's kind of the same idea. The oatmeal bombs has a yogurt shell around the outside, and then it has some oatmeal and some fruit and different flavorings inside. Now, you might have seen my video that I did recently where I made the smoothies in a jar and the chia pudding in a jar. And because Thrive Life has some of our favorite freeze-dried fruits on 50% off right now, I'm going to be doing a bunch of things like that because I can stock up on those fruits at a good price. They've got strawberries, mangoes, cinnamon apples, and cranberries all on 50% off. So I'm going to try making some oatmeal bombs. It'll just be kind of a fun thing to do. They would be shelf stable for a while, but I'm probably not going to keep them around for a really long time. But I do like to find other, you know, fun things to do with our freeze-dried foods. And so we're going to try oatmeal bombs. And then, of course, back here, I've got 3 of these 50 packs of Swiss Miss cocoa packets. I get these a lot. We go through quite a bit of cocoa. I know a lot of you were telling me that you were getting these for around $5 and something at, I think, Sam's Club. And we don't have Sam's Club close enough for me to get there very often. I really might get there once or twice a year. So when I saw the Amazon Subscribe and Save have a similar price, 5 something, I grabbed a bunch because these will last a long time and we do go through them pretty quickly. We use them especially in the winter, but we also use them in the summer when we're camping. It's just a good idea to have drink mixes on hand in your food storage because in an emergency you might want things to flavor your water, and you also are going to want things like this to keep you warm if you have a wintertime power outage. So I've got some more interesting Amazon stuff right here. This is just a case of carabiner clips, but it's the locking type where you have this little screw up and screw down piece, and you have to screw this down in order to be able to open the clip, and then you can screw it back up. So the clip can't just come open. Now these aren't the super strong kind that you would use for rock climbing or anything like that. They're just for attachment, but I wanted to get these to attach things to backpacks and things like that. I needed some of these for that. And so I got the locking type so I don't have to worry about things slipping off accidentally. And I also got this big pack that's multiple different colors so that I can color code things, you know, between family members or between types of gear, things like that. The next thing I got is this little keychain light. I just stumbled across this on Amazon. I wasn't looking for it, although I do love lights and I love getting all sorts of different types of flashlights and lights. I happened to see this, so I grabbed one to try, and I think I'm going to be getting some more because I really do like this. It is rechargeable, so it comes with a cord. You know that I guess I'm learning new tricks as I go along. I really prefer things with conventional batteries because I have a hard enough time just making sure my cell phone is charged. I don't want to add a bunch of different tools that I have to keep charged, but a lot of things are rechargeable nowadays, and so I'm kind of getting used to it and just getting a system for keeping things charged. And now that we have, you know, a few solar generators on top of our gas generator, I feel a little bit more comfortable having some of our preps be rechargeable. But this is very slim. You can see it's small, light, it's slim. It has a clip here that will come open and clip onto whatever you want to clip it onto. And it's actually very bright. I was impressed. It has a low power also and a strobe power. And shortly before I saw this, it was a couple of days before Christmas, and I was in Kohl's shopping, and it was nighttime, so it was dark, and we were having a pretty bad storm. We were having strong winds and things like that, and I had just finished checking out, just walking away from the checkout, and the power went out, and it was pitch black inside the Kohl's. They didn't have any emergency lighting system. Now, I do have this flashlight that I keep on my purse, but this does require you to twist the head to get it to turn on, and then you do have to hold it and aim it if you want it to shine in front of you, because it is a conventional flashlight. I do love this flashlight, but I thought it would be really handy to have something like this clipped right on here. All I have to do is just reach down and squeeze it basically, and it will come on, and it will hang and aim straight ahead, just hanging on my purse, which I thought was really handy. So it's not going to replace the other flashlights that I carry, but it's just going to be an addition. You could stand this on a surface if you needed to. It does stand up. It also has a very strong magnet on the back, so you could magnet this to any metal surface that you wanted to have light where you needed it. I actually wish I had found this light sooner. I have this bathroom bag that I keep in my purse. This is just a bag with any like necessities for the bathroom. And I do have a light in here. Now someday I'll do a what's in my purse video and show you guys everything, and I'll explain the story of why I have a small light in my bathroom bag. But what I ended up doing to find a light that was small enough is I just took the head off of a cheap headlamp from Walmart, and it does work. It fits in this bag, but had I known about this light, I think this light would have been an even better choice. And if you think about it, it wasn't the main reason why I put a light in my bathroom bag, but I did think about the fact that if you're in a bathroom in a store or an office building or something like that and the power goes out, you could be in the dark with no windows and no light whatsoever. And sometimes I may just have this bag. I may not have my whole purse, or maybe I've hung my purse up and it's out of reach. And so I think I might be replacing that light with one of these. So the next thing I got is this little battery operated thermometer. I'm going to talk about this in a minute because I have another thing that kind of relates to this. I'm going to set this aside and come back to it. And then this is something else. This was actually a gift that I got. This is a jar bottle top remover. This is something that's supposed to be really good for removing the lids from canning jars without damaging them. I do not have one of those jar wrenches that sometimes comes with the canning kits. I am a believer in reusing your canning jar lids, especially because there's a cost to them. You know, they usually are at least 30 cents a piece, sometimes upwards of 50 cents, depending on where you get them. So if you're throwing them away every time, every jar of food that you can is going to cost you that much money. So I am a believer in reusing them if you can, but I just have a hard time removing them without any damage. And if you've bent them in the slightest, dinged them in the slightest, there's a good chance they might not seal, so I don't reuse those. There's a tool called, I think it's called a pry jar. It's an old vintage tool that a lot of people like to use. You can get them on eBay, but you know, they're kind of difficult to get and they cost a lot of money because they're vintage. So this is basically just pretty much a copy of that pry jar. And this is what it looks like, and I'm really excited to try this. It has, you know, things for opening up all sorts of different types of bottles and cans and jars. So I'm really excited to try it out and let you know how it works. So the next thing I got from Amazon is this Charmast power bank. I love this cell phone charger. This is 10,000, whatever this stands for. So it holds a good amount of power. This one is still sealed up, but this is mine. I'm slowly but surely making sure that every member of our family has one of these. And one of this type. This is the other type of cell phone charger that we like. This one holds a lot of charge. It's nice and slim, so it'll fit, you know, anywhere in your purse or in your pocket. It has charging cables built in. This is the iPhone type. And this is the USB type. Both USB types are on this side. It also has this built in here, so you can plug this right into the wall, and this does support pass-through charging, so this can actually be like your wall block and your charger all in one. And this one does charge really quickly. This is a pretty fast charger. I've had quite a few different units like this, and this one I really like because this one charges quickly and holds a lot of charge compared to a lot of the other ones that I've tried. So I am working on making sure that everyone in our family has one of this type of charger and one of this type of charger as part of their EDC. This one here doesn't hold quite as much charge as this one, but it is handy in the fact that you don't even need a cable, and it's a docking type of charger, so you just put it right into the bottom of your cell phone and you continue to use your phone just like normal. So I do try to make sure that everyone has one of each of these types, because I think that having good backup for your cell phone is one of your most important EDC tools. It's one of your most important preps to have. It's your communication, it's your navigation. You know, as long as the cell phone network is still active, it's a very important tool to have. So you always want to make sure that you're able to keep it charged. I always want to make sure that my kids are able to have their phone charged no matter what. I don't want them to be stuck anywhere and not be able to contact me or, you know, whoever else they need to contact. And for myself personally, being on YouTube, you know, you never know when you might need your phone. Also, as a Thrive Life consultant, I basically work from my phone wherever I am. So it's very important for me to have my phone and have plenty of battery backup for it. So I carry both of these type of chargers, and I am making sure that everyone else in my family has both of these as well. Now these little scoops, this was a 3-pack. I already took one out. I just grabbed these because to try to save money when I'm making like jellies and jams and things like that, I buy my pectin in bulk, and I think it's 6 tablespoons. That's equal to one of the boxes of pectin if you were to buy the box pectin. So I got sick of having to measure out, you know, 6 tablespoons every time, either with my tablespoon or with a 1/4 cup and 1/8 of a cup. So I just bought these scoops because it's exactly 6 tablespoons. So I've already put one into my bulk pectin. I'm not sure what I'll use the other 2 for, but you can always use a scoop for something. And then this right here is the kilowatt meter. In one of our last hauls, we showed you something similar to this. It was the no name brand, and this is the actual name brand, so it costs a little bit more. This measures how much energy different appliances consume. And we basically wanted to try one of each, the brand name and the off-brand, just to see if it's worth paying extra for the name brand. So we may return this, we may not, we may return the other one. We might keep them both, I'm not really sure yet. But we mainly wanted to get this to measure how much power our freeze dryer is using. If you've been watching us recently, you know that we recently got a home freeze dryer, and I just want to know, you know, how much power, how much it's costing us for each load that we run on the freeze dryer. But there's a lot of other uses for these as well. You can use these to find the power suckers in your home to try to cut down on your power bill. You can use these to measure how much power different appliances take. If you're in the market to buy a generator, you can use these to determine how much power the different appliances draw that you're going to want to power with your generator, so that you know what size of a generator you need to get. And likewise, if you already have a generator, you can use this to determine what type of appliances you can run off the generator that you have. And then this is the final Amazon item that I got, and this is the one that kind of relates to this as well. So this wasn't packaged up too fancy, but it's basically a weather station. It has a base station part, and then it has 3 of these sensors that you can put in different locations, inside or outside. Now, when we had our power outage that I mentioned, we realized that we typically tell the temperature inside our home on our thermostat, and our thermostat doesn't work when the power's out. So we had to dig around to find a battery operated thermometer that we could use to keep an eye on the temperature, to decide if we wanted to, you know, hook up the generator or run any of our backup heating sources or anything like that. We actually ended up using a refrigerator thermometer that we found, which worked to tell the inside temperature, but I realized we really needed a battery operated thermometer for our home. We used to have a weather station sort of similar to this years ago, but it's not really working anymore. We haven't used it in years. So I got this one. It's got 3 sensors, so we'll be able to keep track of the temperature, you know, in our living area, but we'll also be able to keep track of temperature in some of our other food storage areas, like maybe the basement, and we can keep track of the temperature outside. We can keep track of the temperature in the garage, things like that. It does temperature and humidity, which is really pretty cool. And this does plug in with a power adapter, but it also has a battery backup. So, you know, when the power goes out, it's still going to have power for a while. But I also did get this little thermometer. This is battery operated, and it does tell the temperature and the humidity. And what I liked about this one is that not only does it keep the minimum and maximums here, But what it does is you can hook this up to your cell phone with an app, and you can have a graph of the temperature and humidity over time, because I really want to keep track of the temperature in our kitchen, because that's where our freeze dryer is right now, and we're trying to keep track of whether it raises the temperature and how much it raises the temperature, which right now we would actually consider that to be a pro of the freeze dryer, because our kitchen is really cold and it's winter and the house is chilly, so any extra heat that put off would be a bonus. So using this, we have actually determined it does seem to raise the temperature in the kitchen by a few degrees when it's running. And the other thing is the humidity. When you're packaging up your freeze-dried food, you want to make sure that, you know, the humidity is not too bad, because that food will start to reabsorb the humidity like almost instantly. So this is going to be living in our kitchen to keep an eye on things like temperature and humidity, and to really track, we can track those with our phones on an app. So the next things we have are some items from Olight. Now Olight is a pretty well-known and respected brand. They make, obviously they make lights, flashlights, but what I didn't know until recently is that they also make other things. They have things like pens, they have things like knives, all sorts of different things. I thought they only made flashlights, but these are a few things that we've gotten from them that are really pretty cool. This is a dual light source EDC. Now this is a rechargeable item. Like I said, I am coming around to rechargeable items. And actually that was one thing that I really liked about this item. I've never seen this before. This is the charger, and it's a magnetic charger, so you don't have to stick it in. So it has like no holes or crevices for like moisture to get in the light. You just do that and that charges it. I thought that was amazing. We're pretty new to Olight products, so I think that their interface kind of takes a little bit getting used to how to operate their things, but once you get used to it, it's easy peasy. So you push the button to turn it on. It's got a low light. You hold it to go to the next brightness, and then it's got the brightest, which this is really bright, which this bright setting is actually pretty bright. When I took this outside, I was actually just able to see really far in the dark with just this small light. I was pretty impressed. And then you can turn that off, and then this little knob here that you operate with your thumb is what switches it from mode to mode. This is the light mode, and this is for the green laser pointer, because green is supposed to be the easiest color to be seen. This is good and solid, and it does have this clip right here. And then this little light from Olight, this was actually a free gift with purchase. I don't know if they still have that promotion going on, but I think they have promotions quite often. We'll have the website linked down in the description. This is sort of similar to the one that I have on my purse. This is actually quite a bit smaller, and this does use a real battery, which you know I like that. This uses a AAA battery, and it's basically exactly the size and weight of the AAA battery, because that's all that it is. So you just, this is a twist on, and that is pretty bright. It's hard to tell on the videos, but that's actually pretty bright for a AAA battery. I was able to see pretty far with this one outside as well when I took this out to test it. You just twist it to turn it off, and it does have a ring for attaching onto your keychain or wherever else you want to keep it. And it is super teeny tiny and super light. And then the last thing that I have from Olight is this cute little teeny purple pen. Like I said, I didn't even realize they had things like pens and knives and things like that. They have a lot of EDC items besides flashlights. But this pen is, once again, pretty small. It's easy to carry around in your pocket, your purse, and like the lights, it took a little bit of getting used to. They call this bolt action. So this took a little bit of getting used to for me, but I thought this was pretty slick. So the next thing we got was all this jerky and meat sticks. Now we are a jerky loving family. Everyone in our family loves jerky and meat sticks. I love it from a preparedness standpoint because it's shelf stable. It's got a relatively long shelf life. It's going to give you a good boost of protein in something like this, which is something that we always look for in our survival food. It's going to be relatively light because they've removed a lot of the moisture from the meat. And it's pretty impervious to the elements. If you need something that you can keep in your car for emergency food in your car, or maybe in a bug out bag that hangs in your garage where it's not climate controlled and it might get very cold or very hot, jerky is a good choice. It's one of my favorite choices for places like that. Some of the negative things that people sometimes bring up about jerky, like the fact that it can have high sodium salt, and sodium is actually an electrolyte that is actually necessary for our bodies. Our bodies need that. It's got a bad rap nowadays because people tend to overdo it with fast food and things like that, but in a survival situation when you're not hopping down to McDonald's on the corner, sodium is going to be very important, and salt and sugar and things like that for energy. So over the holidays, we were searching the internet for some really good jerky for gift giving purposes because we like to use it for gifts. We put it in Christmas stockings, gift baskets, things like that. And we stumbled across this company called Wicked Cuts. And of course that caught our eye because we're Wicked Prepared. And so seeing a company that kind of shared part of our name, we were curious how this company in Texas that makes jerky came to be called Wicked Cuts. And so we contacted them, and the guys over at Wicked Cuts were awesome enough to send us this wonderful care package with a whole variety of their products to try. So we've got a bunch of different jerky here. This is the peppered beef jerky, barbecue mesquite beef jerky, orange teriyaki beef jerky. They've got chicken and turkey jerky. So this is the buffalo style chicken. They've got bacon jerky. This is old-fashioned maple bacon jerky. I'm really excited to try this. And then they've got limited edition exclusive varieties. So this is a sweet mango habanero bacon jerky, which sounds amazing. And then they sent us this variety pack of all their meat sticks. Now these are really nice thick meat sticks. They're not like little thin little Slim Jim kind of things. All sorts of different flavors that they have. A lot of these have 15 grams of protein, which is really awesome. I looked at the nutrition information on the back and I found that some of them only have 1 gram of carbs, which is pretty awesome for me. Some of them have more. It's going to depend on the flavor because some flavors are going to be sweeter than others. But I was looking at their website and it's really cool because on each listing of each flavor of jerky, it'll show you the sweetness level, the saltiness level, the spice level, and the texture of the jerky, whether it's dry or more saucy. So I thought that was really awesome. And of course you can also look at the nutrition information if you want to see specifics. These are really great jerkies and meat sticks with no preservatives. They've got, they're gluten-free, no MSG, really high quality stuff. So we'll have a link down in our description box so you can go check them out and show them some love because they're wicked awesome. So next I've got my Thrive Life order. I do have a couple pantry cans of tomato dices. I've got a couple meal in a jar recipes coming up where I use the tomato dices, so I needed to make sure I had plenty of these to replenish what I've used. And then for the big number 10 gallon size cans, I got a ground beef and I got a sliced mushrooms because those are 2 of our most used items. These do have a 25-year shelf life on the cans. And if you're not familiar with freeze-dried food and why it's so awesome for your prepper pantry, it's very light. And it maintains 97 to 99% of the nutrients, the freeze drying process. It's basically the healthiest food that you can get for your prepper pantry. And even though it has a 25-year shelf life, the freeze dried food has no preservatives, no additives, no GMOs, no nothing like that. They're mostly single ingredient foods. Like this tomato dices is just tomato dices. That's it. That's all that's in this can is tomatoes. The mushrooms, the only thing in the can is going to be mushrooms. No chemicals, no additives, preservatives, nothing. No added salt, no added sugar, just pure clean food. And Thrive Life has the most stringent quality standards in the industry. Now these 3 bags here, these are Snackies bags. These are coconut bites. This is really just a sweet treat. Sometimes I'll put these in smoothies. If you saw the video I just did, I did a few smoothie jars. I didn't put coconut bites in any of them, but if you wanted a tropical flavor, you could do that. These are good in a snack mix with freeze-dried strawberries and pineapples. And sometimes we just like to snack on these. And then the other thing I got from Thrive Life was 3 of these meals. This is the latest meal that they've released. They've got this new line of meals and they're releasing them, 1 or 2 at a time usually. These are freeze-dried meals. They've got a 20-year shelf life. They're a complete meal. They've got your starch, your protein, your vegetable all inside, sauce, everything. All you have to do is add hot water and let it set for a little bit and you've got a complete meal. These are supposed to be 3 servings, but with serving sizes, I think these are more like 2 servings, but they're definitely a good size meal. This is the chicken spinach Alfredo. I'm really excited to try this one. It's the newest meal. These are great for backpacking or camping, but they're also good for emergency preparedness to have on hand. But I also know people who use these when they just need a quick and easy meal. They don't have a lot of time to spend. They just need something quick, but they don't want to go through the drive-thru or out to eat, and they don't want to have to get out a bunch of ingredients and a bunch of measuring utensils and everything. They just grab one of these and have a quick, easy dinner. So everything else that I have here is either from Walmart or a few items from Dollar Tree. I did get 4 more jars of the sweet gherkins just for a snack. These are a pickle that our family really likes. I got 2 jars of the peppercini peppers. I mostly use these making Mississippi pot roast or Mississippi chicken, Mississippi pork. You can do the Mississippi roast with any type of meat really, but I really prefer it with the beef. I don't like it as well with chicken or pork, but some people do. If you saw recently, I did a video where I canned Mississippi pot roast, and we liked that so well, I'm going to do a bunch more every time I can find chuck roast on sale. So I got a couple of big jars of the pepperoncinis, 2 little bottles of this kikkoman sweet and sour sauce. This is driving me crazy because I usually use both. I use this brand and I use the La Choy. I like to make sweet and sour meatballs sometimes. I have a quick and easy crock pot recipe where you just dump it in and use sauce from a jar. I also have a sweet and sour meatballs recipe that I make from scratch, but sometimes you just need something really quick. You don't have time to measure things. You just want to dump it all in the crock pot and go. And when I do that, I use 1 jar of this and I use 1 jar of the La Choy. And I keep ordering the La Choy from Walmart, and it was telling me it was in stock, but every time they were substituting it with this kikkoman brand, and I really like to keep an even amount of each type so that I have 1 bottle of each when I make that recipe. Got a couple of cans of the broccoli cheese soup from Campbell's. These are going to be in a meal in a bag that I'm going to be doing a video on soon, but I can get a slightly better deal on these soups by buying them by the case on Amazon, so I did just pick up 2 so that I have them to do my meal in a bag, and then I'm going to buy a case from Amazon. These 2 things are from Dollar Tree. This is a hazelnut spread. It's like their brand of Nutella. I've never seen that there before. I did check the price per ounce versus getting the Walmart Great Value brand. This is slightly less expensive, just slightly. And then this was something I just saw at Dollar Tree that I'd never seen before. I've seen peanut butter there, but this is a peanut butter spread with honey. So I thought this might be an interesting thing to have, to try. This could be a good spread for graham crackers. It could be a good dip. I think it would be good stirred into some oatmeal. I did get, let's see, 8 cans of these whole baby clams. I love these. I go through these quite quickly. I'm the only one in my family who really eats them, I think, but I do go through them. So I try to keep a good supply on hand. And it's one of those things where I'm afraid the price is going to start going up worse than it already has. So I'm going to try to get as many as I can before that happens. But if seafood is your thing, then check this out, because they do have 13 grams of protein per serving, which isn't bad. And look at this. They have a little bit of calcium, a little bit of potassium, but they've got 60% of your daily iron requirement, which is amazing. So if you do like seafood, this is not a bad canned protein to have on hand. It's not terribly expensive compared to some of the other options either. And you can cook with these. Anytime I use a canned clam product like clam chowder or clam pasta sauce, anything like that, I usually open up an extra can of these whole baby clams and add them in. And then I also eat these just plain. I'll just saute these up in a pan with some butter and a bunch of garlic, and then throw some shredded Italian cheese on them when they're hot and let that melt, and I'll just eat it just like that. So there's all sorts of things you can do with these. Alfredo, I did get 6 more jars of Alfredo. My kids love the Great Value Alfredo. I've tried the Prego from Dollar Tree because it's in a can, and I just thought it's a lot easier to store cans than it is to store glass or plastic jars, but my kids did not like that one. We do have a bunch of Ragu and I think Classico downstairs that I got on clearance that was cheaper than the store brand, so I got them. They don't like them as much, but we're going to eat them up because we're not going to let them go to waste. So we're going to work through those, and I just got these are going to go at the back of the rotation behind those other ones that we have to use up. And then I did get some more of these big cans. These are the really big cans of cat food, wet cat food. Pet food is still pretty hard to come by at our stores around here, and even online. I've been ordering our dog food online through Amazon with Subscribe and Save a lot, and it's sold out a lot of the time. They almost never have it, and they don't have it at my Walmart. They had very little in the dog food section when I was there the other night. Now, I did do a video on making your own canned cat food, and I think I'm going to probably make up another batch of that and try freeze drying it as well. And I'm also going to make up some dog food, and I'm going to try canning it and freeze drying it. And it's actually going to be healthier and better quality for the pets than what you could buy at the store anyways. But I do try to keep a good supply of canned pet food down in the basement for emergencies. Now back here I did get 1 case of the half-gallon size mason jars. I'm using these a lot more for storing things in. I didn't used to use them very much, but now I'm storing a lot more things in these half-gallon jars. So I'm trying to grab a case whenever I see it so that I have plenty on hand for storing. And then I got a whole bunch of the Wales crackers. Now these were from Dollar Tree. If you do the price per ounce, this is the cheapest. They're pretty small packages, 7 ounces, but it's cheaper per ounce than buying the boxes at Walmart. It's the cheapest that I've found them in my area. This is, I believe, this is a dozen boxes, and I actually have more. I just got sick of loading them up on the table. They were taking up too much space. But my kids go through these pretty quickly. I would love to have like a 6-month supply of these on hand, but I can't even imagine how many boxes of these they would go through in 6 months. But I just dumped these into a larger container, one of these canisters that I use. It says goldfish on it because the first time we filled it up, we used goldfish, but it's actually whales in there. And oh, look, there's another one of those scoops. So maybe that was actually a 4-pack. Because I know I put one in my pectin. But this is what I use to fill up so that we don't have to keep opening boxes. Now right here is 5 packs of eyeshadow. You're probably thinking, what does eyeshadow have to do with being prepared? You know, is eyeshadow some secret necessity for SHTF, or is there some secret use for eyeshadow that you don't know about? No. I put this here. I got these the other day through Walmart pickup because they were marked on the website. They were marked on clearance for like $1.60 something. And there was a $3 rebate back on Ibotta for these. So this was a moneymaker deal. I think my total for these 5 eyeshadows, they did end up substituting 3 of them. And the 3 they substituted ended up being cheaper than the one that I started out with. So it was an even better deal. But I paid, I think, $8.87 for these 5 eyeshadows, and I got back $15.10 on Ibotta because the limit was 5, so I did the rebate 5 times in one order. So if you have Ibotta, keep an eye out for deals like this. And if you don't have Ibotta, look down in the description. I'll have a link that you can sign up and check it out. They have free items all the time, and sometimes it's just simply a free item. They just give you back the money it costs to buy the item. This is one that, you know, you have to kind of find the clearance item and notice that the rebate is more. I actually found out about this on a Facebook group. But that was a huge money maker. So that gave me like $7 that I can put towards something else. I can put it towards canned food. I can put it towards, you know, beans, rice, anything like that. So anytime you find moneymaker deals like that, whether it's with coupons or apps, definitely take advantage of it. I do use eyeshadow, so these are going to go into my makeup stash, but even if I didn't, I would still buy this because I could give this away to someone who uses it. I could donate it to charity, anything. I'd still have that extra money that I got back that I could use for other things. And then these were a couple other Ibotta deals. There's very commonly detergent rebates and fabric softener rebates, so I tend to just get the best deal and stash them down in the basement with the rest of our cleaning and hygiene supplies. And then the final thing that I've got back here is some bow tie pasta. I got 4 pounds of 4 1-pound boxes of the bow tie. Oh no, they're not pounds, they're 12 ounces. 4 boxes of the bow tie pasta anyways. We mostly use pastas that are whole wheat, and I've never seen whole wheat bow ties, so it's not a shape that we use commonly, but I did use some bow ties in some meals in a jar that I've done, and I really like them in that, so I decided I would keep a small stock of bow tie pasta on hand. So I did stock up on 4 more boxes of that. We have a huge variety of pastas, definitely hundreds of pounds of pasta that we have in different shapes and different varieties and different types. I just like to have a variety and be able to use different pastas for different things. Pasta can be a really great item to have for preparedness. Pasta will store quite a long time. You can get sauce in a can or a jar. So if you store some pasta and some sauces, you'll have quite a few meals that are shelf stable. Add some canned veggie and you're all set to go. You could even put a canned meat in them, or a freeze-dried veggie or a freeze-dried meat. If you're storing purely for preparedness, spaghetti is going to be your best choice. It's going to take up the least space. You're going to be able to store the most pasta in the smallest amount of space because of the shape and size of the pasta. I have a box downstairs that holds, I believe, 70 pounds of spaghetti noodles, and the same size box that I have other pastas in, they hold far less. But like I said, if you can get whole wheat pasta, you're going to get a little bit better nutrition. You're going to get some fiber. We haven't noticed a difference in storing the whole wheat pasta versus the white. I haven't noticed. We've never had a problem with pasta going bad or anything like that. So I suggest going with whole wheat if you can. Okay guys, that's everything that we've added to our preps this week. I hope you found this video helpful or at least entertaining. I want to leave you with a few parting thoughts. If there's one thing that almost everyone needs to work on a little bit more, It's our self-sufficiency. We can store all the food and supplies that we want, but at some point that will run out. We really all need to work a little bit more on learning how to replenish those things without going to the grocery store if the need ever arises. So even though it feels like it's the middle of the winter, and it really is the middle of the winter, it's time to start thinking about things like planting and growing. That season is just around the corner, and it's really almost time to get started on your seedlings if you're doing anything like that. So I challenge you to just do a little bit more. Most of us, even if we have a garden, could probably do a little bit more, try something new, see if there's something else that we can raise ourselves. And if you've never done a garden at all, I challenge you just to have a few pots with a few plants and just get started, because it's really something that's going to become important as time goes on, and it's something that you really need to practice with and work with and build. We should have a lot more videos coming up as the year progresses on things like gardening and self-sufficiency and all of that. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a computer emoji down in the comments. And make sure to check out this playlist right up here. I think there's some ideas in there that you'll find useful. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.